Hey girls, so today we're going to be doing a quick little video on how I did this quick weave. I gave you guys a kind of fast forwarded version of what I did, how I achieved this look for less than $30. Let's get into it. So I started off by putting a black cap over my head. I just put two braids. Oh, I kind of should have told y'all how I did my hair underneath the cap. But basically, I have two big braids in the back, and then I have two braids in the front for my leave out that I braided down. And I put a black cap over it. I cut the ear tabs out of it, and I took yellow Got2b glue, and I sprayed a thick layer of that all over the wig cap. I watched other people do it, and I've talked to other people, and they say that this is a good way of protecting your hair underneath. And after I did that, I made sure I took my blow dryer and I dried it. So I made sure that that whole layer of product was dried before I moved on to my next step. This was truly a trust the process type of video for me since I had never done it before. It just looks like a lot is going on. But trust the process, it comes out really good in the end. So I took the protectant and I put a large amount of that all over that cap, and I used my brush to just distribute that evenly throughout the cap. This took a while because you want to make sure every part of your cap is covered because you don't want glue to get into your actual hair. So after I dried that thoroughly, I took my Got2b glue and I did another layer of that just to make sure I didn't have to worry about glue seeping into my braids underneath my cap at all. This is how you want it to look so that you don't have any issues with glue seeping in under the wig cap. So this is the hair that I used. Again, it was under $30. And my next step is just taking that hair out of the pack and measuring it the way I need to. So I take that weft, measure it behind my head where the first track is going to start. Once I have a clear measurement, I take the weft and I snip it right where it stops from the back of my head, if that makes sense. So I measured it one last time after I cut it, and then I added some glue to the weft and I stuck it onto the cap. I made sure it was exactly where I wanted it to be. I held it in place for a couple seconds, and then I took my blow dryer and blow dried the track just to make sure I could seal the glue. And basically, you are going to repeat this step over and over and over. Now, I could understand the concept of why they call this a quick weave because in theory it is quicker, but my arms were starting to burn because you have to do this for a while. Just same steps. You measure, you cut, you glue, repeat. Measure, cut, glue, repeat. And then every few tracks, I took my blow dryer and just tried to dry the glue up just to make sure none of them raised up and everything was in place. So because I was just trying to test out the style for myself for the first time, I didn't do a super in-depth video. So as you can see, I fast forwarded past that. I got to the top of my head and I was a little nervous because you see that little like puff at the top. I didn't know if that was going to end up working out, but it did. It actually did. Glue was everywhere. Glue all over my hands. This is an easy style and beginner friendly, but it was just messier than I would have liked. So if you have any tips as to how you can do this style without getting a bunch of glue all over your fingers, that would be great. But once I got closer to the top, instead of putting the tracks like around my head, I more so cut them straight across so that I could seal the look. Again, do the same steps, measure, cut, glue, and once you put it on and place it in, you take your blow dryer and blow dry it until it's dry. I'm cutting that cap off of the front of my head because that's where my leave out is. I overestimated how much I needed to put the protectant toward the front, and I got some into my leave out, but thankfully I was able to fix it easily. I took a little bit of oil and I put it on my fingers and I just rubbed it through my hair. So for future, I would probably do what other people do and take a white eyeliner and just mark where my glue needs to stop to avoid this. Whew, child. So then I took the braids out that I put into my leave out to keep it in place, and I combed the leave out really good. You can see there's still some residue of the protectant in my hair, but just comb that out really well. I also have a burn mark on my forehead because I was doing a different style and I burnt my forehead with the hot comb. But anyway, so you take the braids out of your hair, make sure you comb all of that product out. Hopefully you didn't get any product in your leave out, but I got some in mine. And I just got that out and flat ironed it off camera. And this is the final look. I took my shears and I just put some layers into the hair because I wanted to frame it to my face a little bit better. So I just cut some layers. I cut away from my face. I did that until I felt like the hair had enough volume and looked the way I wanted it to look. And that basically is it. That was a pretty simple style. It just was a little bit more time consuming than I expected. I still had, as you can see, there's a little bit of like the protectant still in my hair a little bit, but later on I got that out. And I also off camera did my edges with my edge control, and I touched up my hair a little bit as far as like the curls. I'll put some videos and pictures of that toward the end. And don't forget to just flat iron your leave out the way you want it to look. I tucked that little part of my leave out behind my ear because I felt like it helped it blend better. Again, you still couldn't see any tracks or anything like that, so it worked out perfectly fine. And that's about it. I hope you guys like this video. If you want a more detailed and in-depth video about how I did this and the products I used, leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, girl. Make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, and like this video for more.
Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?